Later on in the original story, I couldn't believe how powerful Luo Feng became. While reading Swallowed Star, I always knew Luo Feng was strong, but in the original text, he turned out to be unbelievably powerful. After leaving the Thunder World, Luo Feng encountered a Domain Lord level powerhouse for the first time. In Luo Feng's eyes, at that moment, these top-tier experts were like gods. It took him over 3,000 years after leaving the interstellar boundary to reach this level. The reason for the long period was not due to Luo Feng's lack of talent, but because he intentionally suppressed his breakthroughs to enjoy more of the lower-tier benefits provided by the virtual universe company. It wasn't until Luo Feng broke through the original primitive Heaven Mountain, thoroughly exploiting the Domain Lord level advantages offered by the virtual universe company, that he chose to advance to the Domain Lord realm and reap significant point rewards. At this point, Luo Feng also became a disciple of the Chaos City Lord. The moment Luo Feng entered Chaos City, the Chaos City Lord was already aware of Luo Feng's takeover of the Golden Horn Beast. However, he understood that at this time, Luo Feng's soul still belonged to the human race, so the Chaos City Lord not only didn't care, but also gifted Luo Feng the supreme treasure, the Killing Wu Wing. With the formidable strength and numerous trump cards of the Golden Horned Beast's true form, Luo Feng, although only a Domain Lord, could easily slay immortal-level powerhouses like the Marquis of the Undying. The Domain Lord Hagrid, once considered a deity, and the Celestial Venerable, were immediately extinguished with just a hint of his pressure. After breaking through to the Domain Lord level, Luo Feng could finally cultivate the 9th-level Secret Tome. This was a divine technique left by the God King-level experts outside the original universe, capable of significantly enhancing genetic levels. Normally, a warrior's genetic evolution happens naturally as they progress through each realm. However, this technique allowed the body to simulate an inner universe, slowly pushing genetic evolution. At the same time, Luo Feng could finally refine the insect nest on Earth. By enslaving it, he could obtain a powerful insect army. Even the weakest insect soldiers rivaled Domain Lords, with many comparable to immortal-level beings. Ultimately, using the Million Heart Soul Control technique, Luo Feng successfully controlled the insect nest. Thus, Luo Feng acquired a million-strong Domain Lord-level insect army capable of annihilating entire star domains with a wave of his hand. Subsequently, Luo Feng ventured into the extragalactic battlefield and, with his Domain Lord-level realm, slew over a dozen alien kings. Because Luo Feng used sword techniques to slay these kings and his true strength had reached the King of the Undying level, Luo Feng was bestowed the title he rightfully deserved, the River King of Blades. Although Luo Feng was only a Domain Lord at this point, his formidable strength was recognized by numerous immortal-level experts. Even the most powerful kings were like ants before Luo Feng, showcasing his extraordinary abilities. In the original novel of Swallowed Star, Luo Feng, endowed with the protagonist's aura, received the inheritance of the immortal-level expert Huyan Bo at the beginning. It was because of this inheritance that Luo Feng was able to rise rapidly on Earth, becoming the pinnacle force within just a few years. Contrasting with his older brother, the Thunder God, within the interstellar boundary, not only did he acquire a complete set of Thunder secret arts, but he also gained the inheritance of the Domain Lord Kabo. Although Kabo was only a Domain Lord, it was rare in the entire universe for someone to be mentored by a peak-level Domain Lord at the stellar level. Logically, the inheritance of a Domain Lord level powerhouse is an opportunity many adventurers dream of. So why is it said that Thunder God, inheriting the Kabo Domain Lord's legacy, was the biggest mistake of his life? We all know that among the three brothers, the Thunder God had the highest level, awakening domain skills, at the planetary level, which was quite remarkable among peers of the same level. However, in terms of personal strength, the Thunder God was the weakest. Despite receiving the Kabo Domain Lord's inheritance and guidance from Lord Mist, as time passed, the gap between him and his two brothers widened. In the later universe talent battles, Hong and Luo Feng achieved outstanding results. One was recognized by the Time Lord Lo and became his direct disciple, while the other was recognized by Tru Yan Wang and received expert guidance. Their strengths improved significantly. In contrast, Thunder God was eliminated early due to various reasons and ultimately regretfully stopped at the elimination rounds. Under the guidance of multiple high-level masters, Hong and Luo Feng's cultivation progressed day by day. Only one step away from reaching the cosmic level, they did not forget their brother. Hong even recommended Thunder God to Lord Virtual Gold, resulting in Thunder God having a teacher of the venerable level. With powerful teachers guiding them, Hong and Luo Feng's cultivation speed gradually caught up. However, the path of cultivation was like a race against others. Falling behind one step meant falling behind continually. Countless epochs passed, and Thunder God barely broke through to the cosmic venerable level by the end, showing that compared to the two true gods, Hong and Luo Feng, Thunder God was far from their level. Why did the Domain Lord level powerhouse Hagrid become the biggest victim? In his pursuit of the Domain Lord's inheritance, he not only lost big but also saw his granddaughter Evelyn become an apology tool. To obtain the Kabu Domain Lord's inheritance, Hagrid even spent a fortune to buy tens of thousands of stellar-level bodyguards from other Domain Lords, all to help his granddaughter Evelyn obtain the inheritance. With a powerful legion of bodyguards, Princess Brolin of the Nine Emperors also wreaked havoc within the interstellar boundary. Iron Non-Her died under Brolin's laser gun while protecting Luo Feng. With an absolute numerical advantage, Brolin successfully obtained the inheritance crystal sphere. However, to successfully open it, she needed to use a 3-layer password. After exchanging 2 layers of passwords with Thunderstone, Brolin discovered that the 3rd layer of the password had been exchanged by her archenemy, Mingyu. To obtain the Kabu Domain Lord's inheritance and smoothly advance to the immortal level, Hagrid had no choice but to swallow his pride, using all his possessions to find his old enemy and exchange the 3rd layer of the password with Tianchen. Having spent his fortune, Hagrid entered the Universal Bank, entered the 3-layer password, and nearly had his heart shattered by the absurd result of his coveted inheritance. Just a sentence, "Congratulations on being played by me." Are you angry? But besides anger, what else can you do? Upon hearing these words, Hagrid was almost enraged to the point of cerebral hemorrhage. He probably never dreamed that a dignified Domain Lord powerhouse like himself would be made a fool. Meanwhile, Luo Feng, becoming a genius of the Virtual Universe Company, worried about retaliation from Luo Feng, and Hagrid, intending to apologize and appease him, planned to send his granddaughter, Brolin, to him, hoping for forgiveness. Standing in the vast hall of the Universal Bank, Hagrid's face was pale, his heart cold. He had given everything to obtain the Kabu Domain Lord's inheritance, hoping to break through to the immortal realm, but he never expected such an absurd outcome. His granddaughter, Evelyn, whom he had once placed high hopes on, had become a laughingstock in this farce. The inheritance crystal sphere in her hands, once the hope of their family's rise, had now become a useless joke. Recalling everything he had done to compete for the inheritance, the enormous wealth spent, the lives sacrificed, including Iron Non-Her, who died protecting Luo Feng, Hagrid's efforts had turned into nothingness. And Luo Feng, the young man he once regarded as a thorn in his side, had become a genius of the Virtual Universe Company. The bitterness in Hagrid's heart was indescribable. He had to face the reality that he had lost everything. Taking a deep breath, Hagrid struggled to calm his anger and despair. He knew that the only thing he could do now was to bring Brolin to Luo Feng and seek his forgiveness. He lifted his head, gazing at the distant stars, filled with helplessness and regret. Once a Domain Lord powerhouse, he had now ended up in such a state. All of this was his own choice. He could only accept reality and the cruel outcome. With Brolin in tow, Hagrid walked toward where Luo Feng was. He knew this was the price he had to pay for his mistakes. He hoped that through this apology, he could restore some dignity to himself and his family and compensate for the sacrifices of Luo Feng and Iron Non-Her. Knowing that the Kabu Domain Lord had received the inheritance of an immortal-level powerhouse during his lifetime, Hagrid had a great chance of breaking through to immortal strength if he could obtain Kabu's inheritance. Therefore, to be absolutely sure, Hagrid deliberately borrowed a large number of stellar-level armies from other Domain Lord powerhouses at the Black Dragon Mountain Holy Land, then dispatched them into the interstellar boundary to assist Brolin in seizing the password. Despite the pain and helplessness in his heart, Hagrid continued to move forward with determination. He knew that as a Domain Lord powerhouse, this was the responsibility and consequence he had to bear. Seeing Hagrid's current high and mighty appearance, after the treasure-snatching battle within the interstellar boundary, he ended up living like a dog before Tianchen. In the original novel of Swallowed Star, the reason Brolin could dominate within the interstellar boundary was that Hagrid was her grandfather. For example, the Royal Martial Corps in Brolin's hands, along with the laser gun capable of instantly killing cosmic-level beings, were all Hagrid's strong support for her.